News Dump. We are at the end of March, meaning that we are about to get to April. And in April, quick reminder, we'll be at Idle Hands Craft Ales, 8 and 9 Carson Street, Malden, Massachusetts on April 17th for Saturday morning cartoon trivia. If you are saying to yourself right now, Goo, what in the H does that mean? Cartoons that ran on Saturday morning, with the focus being 80s, 90s, aughts.
Yeah, if you were a child once, you are qualified for this just trivia, and I'm sure you'll be able to contribute. I think one of the lowest common denominators on this planet is Saturday morning cartoons. Everyone's enjoyed those at some point.
Also, new points for this trivia. If you go there and you eat a bowl of cereal during the trivia, points.
You're just taking free reign with the points because I won't be there. You're gonna have a little special guest referee, a little Earl Ebner action.
If you wear anything that is related to a Saturday morning cartoon, points. Tattoos, extra points. You're not going to get Christmas gifts, but you'll get points.
Sure. Why not?
So once again, join us on April 17th, Saturday morning cartoon trivia. News Dump. It was said in Rolling Stone, I believe, that Sydney Sweeney can function off of 2 hours of sleep, and she's never had coffee.
I have to think this comment was made in jest, because although she's a young lady who's worked hard to get to where she is, it's not like she was building a company. Like, you can only act in certain hours, especially when you're a kid. So I feel like she's lying about the sleep thing. I feel like she maybe had 1 or 2 times where she only got a couple hours and she's like, this ain't too bad. I think we all know, as somewhat functioning adults here, if you don't get your sleep, you're trash, you're garbage. There's no way around it. You cannot, if there's one thing on this planet you can't get over, it's lack of sleep. It's debilitating. The secondary aspect to this, which I do somewhat believe because there's lots of alternatives these days, she's never had coffee before. Now, I never had coffee until I was 21 or 22. Post-college, once I started to be a real working boy, and you kind of have to learn to like coffee too. So that much I believe. But her saying she could function on 2 hours of sleep is patently outrageous.
Also, she never said that she didn't have caffeine.
Yeah, right.
She's never had drugs.
Yeah, well, come on now. She's a nice young lady. Come on.
Also, Mac, she said she likes berries.
Yeah, who doesn't like berries? Now, what does she wake up at 4 a.m. and just fucking pop berries into her mouth? That's how she makes it?
They're just scarfing down berries.
Now, if you had to rank berries,
straw.
That's your favorite berry?
Straw.
I might go raspberry number 1. Big raspberry guy.
I really like artificial raspberry flavoring, but I also know that comes from a beaver's ass.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I think artificial raspberry flavoring is some of the worst shit out there. And regular raspberries, though, dynamite.
Then I'm just thinking of popsicles right now. I like blue.
Blueberry's solid. Blueberry's okay.
I need it mixed with something, though.
Sometimes it's too tart, for sure. Yeah, sometimes it's too tart. Strawberry might be the most overrated berry. As much as I love strawberry, it might be the most overrated.
Eat shit. No way. Best berry out there. But you can find real bad ones, though.
That's what I mean. Real inconsistency with strawberries.
News down. Well, this is not good news, Mac. This was
terrible news.
Let's see. It was in Variety. Insiders privy to filming the early versions of Todd Phillips' Joker sequel say that it is leaning more towards, or it is heavily, a jukebox musical, meaning that it's using well-known songs, 15 well-known songs throughout the movie.
Now listen, I can't pretend I thought Joker Folie à Deux was going to be the greatest movie of all time. However, I have been very intrigued since the moment they announced Gaga attached to the project. Little background, though, I didn't care for the first one. This seems like a gigantic waste of casting maybe the most talented musician on the planet. Now, there's a lot of them. I think Gaga's in the conversation. 2018, A Star is Born, or 2017, whatever year that came out. She wrote all of the music for that movie, and that album is a banger. I think she won a couple of awards. I don't know why you would sign Gaga up for this movie, Gaga, and
Gaga.
then not let her just create a whole album's worth of new music. Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be a couple nice covers if this is the way they
Can't
go.
read
I
my
just
read
I
my
just
Joker face.
I fundamentally do not understand the thought process behind 15 like I'm assuming super popular songs making it into this movie.
There'll be some Dixie Chicks. There will be some
They're
Limp
just the chicks now.
There will be, let's see here. What else is popular? Katy Perry's gonna be in
There'll
there.
be a real dark version of a Metallica song or something like that for Arthur Fleck.
But it does say here that original music might be added.
I'm sure there will be maybe a song or two, but that should be the whole thing. The whole thing should be a fever dream in which Gaga gets to write whatever the fuck she wants.
Is Joaquin Phoenix a good singer? I know that he played Johnny Cash.
I'm assuming he is. I feel like 80% of actors are because they usually get their start on with like stage plays and whatnot. And so they've been singing their whole lives, but maybe not.
I always think about, Bradley Cooper, Joaquin Phoenix here of like these actors that have the balls to sing in front of the best singers in the world.
Yeah, for sure. But on the flip side, and Gaga's talked about this, it's really intimidating for her to act in front of actors like Bradley
Okay, that
Cooper
makes sense
and
too. Okay.
Joaquin Phoenix. So it's like it's a give and take there.
Because what was it? It was that short movie, Guava Island, a couple years ago with Childish Gambino, who is a singer on his own.
Yeah.
But Rihanna's in it, and Rihanna doesn't sing at all, and it's all Gambino singing to Rihanna.
That was
like, imagine singing to Rihanna.
Yeah, true. Although that I feel like Donald Glover has the highest of confidence on planet Earth.
He never had the issue of confidence, but
I forgot about that little short movie. That was an interesting one. It was all right. It was okay.
Yeah, it just has his songs in it. I like his songs.
Yeah.
News down. Oh boy, Mac, a Happy Gilmore sequel coming to Netflix via Deadline?
Via Deadline? I don't think this movie should be made. However, the sport of golf has gotten, I don't know, 100 times more popular since they made the last Happy Gilmore movie. They made Happy Gilmore what was it, 95 or 96?
Came out in 96.
It was before
Maybe
Tiger
97.
Woods was ever a professional.
Yeah.
That was almost 30 years ago.
It's like that Tiger Woods and his daddy.
Golf is immensely more popular now. So I do think there is a little bit of a desire for this. I don't think you could ever replicate what you got in the first movie. That's a time and place. And Christopher McDonald was so good as Shooter McGavin. But I am interested to see. I'd like to see like the early version of this. Give me a little tease for this,
And then, so Sandler teased out a couple years ago that he was thinking of, instead of doing sequels, a Sandler verse movie where he goes back and he plays all of his characters in one movie. Would you have preferred that?
No, absolutely not.
I might lean that way. I might lean that way.
No, thank you.
Because I don't think I want this. Because this is a straight comedy sequel, and those don't do well.
No, you're 100% right. And it's also 30 years later, and that's the second thing.
News down. Matt, we finally got our trailer as more of a teaser. We talked about it a little bit last episode, but Beetlejuice.
I am looking forward to this movie officially. Now that I've seen it, now that's out there, now that there's a little bit of imagery to fuck with. You still can't like guarantee to me that this is going to be good.
No.
But I'm looking forward to it now.
Okay, so when I first saw the teaser, I said to myself, I hope that Beetlejuice has more energy in the movie, because Keaton delivers the line of juice is loose, kind of, depressed, down. But I just watched a good amount of Keaton breaking down his most iconic characters on GQ or with GQ. And he said that Beetlejuice, if he had to pick one character, is his favorite.
Yeah, I think it's probably the opportunity he's had most to fuck around and do whatever he wants. I think that's why he likes the other guys so much too, because he was able to fuck around in that role. There's absolutely no pressure on him as Beetlejuice. He can say and do whatever he wants. He can do a million takes. It's just for an actor like Keaton, it's got to be fun to do a role like this, especially since you haven't done it in 35 years.
He also spoke about how in the first movie, Beetlejuice is so electric every time he's on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
to the point of like in that teaser, not a lot of electricity. Maybe it is him jaded now after being able to get out and then be put back into the bottle. And now that he's out again, he's going to try and slow play it.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight rope to walk here for the plot of this movie. Because as we just said about comedy sequels 30, 35 years later, it's not great. Additionally, they cast Jenna Ortega as Winona Ryder's daughter, and Catherine O'Hara is back as well. I don't really care about that family, right?
The
Sure,
Dietzes?
have a couple characters there. I want to fuck around in the afterlife. I want to fuck around in that world. I don't really care about the family aspect here that they're probably going to use.
Also, Beetlejuice famously barely in the first Beetlejuice movie. How much Beetlejuice do we get in this Beetlejuice movie? Also, I think Beetlejuice has been summoned at least 15 times in this conversation.
I think it's full juice. I think the juice is loose 15
The juice
minutes
is loose?
in. Yeah.
The juice is loose. Fuck
15
it.
minutes in, we'll get the juice.
So, from this teaser, from the images, and from him talking about the character with GQ, I'm in. I'm fully in. 100% in.
Agree. I agree with you.
News dump. Something I am not 100% in on, and that is Bad Boys Ride or Die. This one should have been called For Life, and the next one should be Five or Die. But that's another conversation for another day.
The third movie that was called For Life that came out 2 or 3 years ago did surprisingly well ratings-wise. I didn't really care for it. It was all right. I didn't even watch the trailer for this goo. That's how little interest I have in this movie.
Okay, so while we did get the iconic line in this trailer of put some relish on that motherfucker, we need a little more humor here. There's almost too much action in this trailer. That's not what I come to Bad Boys for. You need the mix of action and humor.
Would you say that relish is underutilized as a condiment?
Yes, on a hot dog. If I'm eating a hot dog, Mac, not to get too personal here. If I'm scarfing down a couple dogs, I'm going chopped onion and I'm going relish.
You can throw relish on nachos goo and no one ever does it.
A little mustard too.
I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
But do you think they cut the Diddy song from this trailer?
Oh, right. Iconic song tied to this iconic franchise.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with him.
Also, they're probably not going to use that song again.
Personally,
yes.
So I don't want to get too political here, Gil.
Don't get too poly-charged on us, Mac.
R. Kelly's been canceled for a while. I'm telling you right now, if the remix to Ignition comes on, I'm jamming to it every single time.
That's such a good song.
It's a banger. Fucking banger.
News dump. Another trailer that we got, and I'm now questioning life, is the Unfrosted movie, the Pop-Tarts movie, directed. This is his first directed movie, first directorial appearance here. It's Jerry Seinfeld. He was waiting for the right moment to put his directorial pants on.
Yep.
And he said, Unfrosted is what I want to do here. And there is a line in this trailer of a child saying, "Is this a joke?" And that's what I thought the entire 2 minutes.
I don't know what I expected this movie to be. It wasn't this. It wasn't this. This seems like it's falling into that, like, what was the Cheetos one called?
That was Flamin' Hot, right?
This feels like a combination of Flaming Hot and that Weird Al biopic. It's like it's so unserious, and I just don't care.
Superhero movie, and what are the other movies that came out at that time?
I don't know. Jerry Seinfeld doesn't take on many projects. He barely does anything. I don't know why he came out of retirement for this fucking thing. And like, does he just love Pop-Tarts that much? Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand it.
So I drafted this in the movie draft last month. Can I cut it?
Well, there's no downside anymore. There's no penalties anymore. So you might as well just.
We should next year add penalties again, and then you should have the option of cutting a movie.
We'll see.
Because there's risk. If it does well, you don't get those points anymore.
I'll tell you right now, this movie is not going to do well.
No. News dump. Got a teaser for another movie that I drafted in the auction draft last month, and that is kinds of kindness.
Yeah, this is a positive. I don't know if it's going to offset the negative of Frosted, but this is the next Yorgos Lanthimos movie starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Willem Dafoe, and Margaret Qualley. He basically just uses the same actors, it seems like, which a lot of directors do. Looks very interesting. Doesn't look as Yorgos as the last couple Yorgos movies have been. So maybe this will be more palatable for a wider audience.
News up. Also got a teaser for the HBO Max show coming this fall, The Penguin, that is inside of the Batman universe.
My only real thought on this, Goo, is I hope they don't hold back stuff for like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna do this series, give us some well-known Batman characters. Go full fucking R rating. Just don't hold back. Don't save stuff for the movie because you have plenty you can do in the next movie.
Yes, where you can introduce other characters, some smaller characters, give them some B lines throughout this little story. Also, maybe you introduce some of the Bat family eventually. Maybe not this season, maybe after the second Batman movie where it's further down the line. But this is where you can introduce smaller characters that you might sprinkle into the Batman movies that you don't want to introduce and waste time on during the film.
Agreed.
News dump. Mac, I did not watch this because it was 7.5 minutes, but The Spider Within, a Spider-Verse story.
I'll tell you what, Spider-Man meme, you and me. I also didn't watch it because it was just a little bit too long. It found that perfect medium where, like, if it was 20 minutes, a television episode, I would have watched it. But since it was over 3 minutes, the length of like a trailer, I didn't watch it.
I had a Keaton GQ interview to watch, man. I couldn't watch this.
I bet it's cool. I will watch it at some point this weekend. From what I read, it's kind of speaking about mental health a little bit like that. So that's always a good thing.
News dump. Also might have a Spider-Man 4 director.
Yeah, Justin Lin is reportedly being eyed for the MCU's next Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Man 4 movie, Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. And also Zendaya is reportedly going to return, which makes sense since if Tom Holland's going to do the movie, you might as well fucking do it, Zendaya. The only thing I know Lin from is 5 Fast and Furious movies, Goo. 5. So I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I don't know what you would bring from a Fast and Furious movie to a Spider-Man movie, but this is the rumor.
I've also heard rumor has it
because
Zendaya is going to do this movie. That is the reason why Euphoria has been halted, and they have told all of their cast members, you can go find other things.
Yeah, that seems like a fib because number one, Euphoria has been halted prior to this. Number two, how much is Zendaya really going to shoot for this? What, 2 months? That seems like a fib.
Hey, man, rumor has it. This is the first time Euphoria told them that you can go and find other projects, which means it might be canceled.
Well, they lost one of the main characters, right? So that's
oh, you're right. And he was the best part of the show.
From the 2 episodes I watched, he was easily my favorite character.
By the end of the run, I did see both seasons. It's kind of a tough watch. He is the only character that you care about. And when he's not on the screen, you ask the person that you're watching with, I wonder where they're going to bring him back. News dump. Austin Butler has his next role.
Yeah, this is, I still don't know if I'm in or out on Austin Butler. I'm walking that fence. Maybe he needs, I don't know what role is gonna grab me and make me say I'm an Austin Butler guy. Apparently he's going to star in Darren Aronofsky's next film, Caught Stealing. And that's a whole other thing too, because Aronofsky's so up and down. Reportedly he's going to play a character who's a burned out former baseball player as he's unwittingly plunged into a wild fight for survival in the downtown criminal underworld of 90s New York City. Now, number one, that's a mistake setting it in the 90s because Times Square was cleaned up in the 90s. Should have been set in like the early 80s. It would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, but not the underworld. I'm thinking like the sewers.
No, I know all about the underworld. There's no underworld in the 90s, Gil.
Dealing with turtles at that point.
Turtles.
Yeah. Is he big enough to be a baseball player?
Oh, yeah. Austin Butler's not small.
What's his height?
I think he's like 6'2".
You're right.
Let me look it up. Let me look it up right now.
Let's look at the heights. We should just play a whole podcast of let's guess people's heights.
Just over-unders?
I'm going to say 5'11".
For Austin Butler?
Yes.
All right.
I think he just looks taller compared to other people.
He's 32 years old, Goo.
What?
He has a sibling named Ashley Butler. He's 6 foot. 6 foot even.
So split the difference. Split the baby right in half. Mac and Goo are both right. But also, he's 32.
He's 32.
He looks like he's 20 years younger than me, and I look pretty spry, right?
He does look like a young 32. That's for
I
sure.
look okay, right?
Him and Shal's both.
Right?
I think Chalamet is like 30, 32, and he looks like he's 16.
I think Shals is approaching 30 now.
Let's see. How old is Tom Holland, do you think?
Let's see. Let's get on the Google. I'm going to say Holland is 28. I'm going to say Shals is 29.
Shal's is 28. One
Ah,
off. I'm going to say 26 for Tom Holland.
okay.
27 for Tom Holland. We're all around it.
Okay, we're
all
right
around
around it.
Yeah.
And they look roughly the same age as us. So
Yeah,
congrats to us.
We're going to be extras in the MIT scenes in the next Spider-Man movie.
Like, what's crazy is that Butler and Jesse Plemons are almost the same age. And they look, Plemons. Look at Plemons' age now.
Jesse Plemons is like 45.
Plemons is like 34.
No, he's married to Kirsten Dunst, dude. You're insane.
Yeah, she's rocking the cradle. Robbing the cradle?
Oh, God. All right. Okay, hold on.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Yes.
How old do you think Kirsten Dunst is?
50.
Let me. You just blew my mind.
Remember, we're just looking up ages.
You just blew my fucking mind. Kirsten Dunst is only 41 years old.
What?
That seems not right. That doesn't seem right.
How old is Plemons?
So, how old was Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man?
Was she 12?
She was like 17 in Spider-Man?
That makes sense because when she was in that vampire movie, she was 12 or 13.
Wow. I thought Kirsten Dunst was
How
older.
old is Jesse Plemons?
Kirsten Dunst in Jumanji is young, so I guess that makes sense.
Where are the turtles?
Jesse Plemons is 35 years old. Jesse Plemons is our age.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. I thought, because he was in Friday Night Lights, which I figured he was I guess that makes sense. We were right around that age. I thought Jesse Plemons was 42 and Kirsten Dunst was 50. Yeah.
So,
Kirsten Dunst, 41 years old. She's been around forever.
News dump. Oh man, Jeremy Allen White is the top choice to play Bruce Springsteen in Scott Cooper's upcoming Road to Nowhere.
The oddest thing about this, Gil, is this is of course rumored. The film is apparently going to focus on Springsteen's life and his creation of the album Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Nebraska is like the most insignificant Bruce Springsteen album. I don't understand that.
Maybe it's near and dear to him.
I'm not a hashtag boss boy, so maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe one of the listeners can fill us in.
Do you think that Alan White will be joining the Bob Dylan-averse that Chalamet is trying to build with Austin Butler's Elvis?
Yeah, they're gonna form a nice team there, a nice ensemble. I don't know. Maybe there are some circumstances surrounding this album that I am unaware of, but I don't know why they're focusing on like Bruce Springsteen's 5th or 6th studio album that has almost no good songs on it.
News up. Steven Spielberg's in love, and he doesn't care who knows it.
I'm in love.
The man loves Dune.
Yeah, he loves Dune and Denis Villeneuve.
I don't blame him.
He said it's one of the most brilliant science fiction films I've ever seen, and surfing the sandworms is one of the greatest things I have ever seen, ever. That seems like an exaggeration.
He said, "May I do that?"
First part of the sentence, agreed with. Second part, let's not overdo it with the sandworm thing. This, I think, is an interesting point because it's hard to wrap your mind around what he's trying to say here. He said there are filmmakers who are the builders of worlds. It's not a long list, and I deeply, fervently believe that Denis Villeneuve is one of the newest members. Now, you're not allowed to be a builder of worlds unless you're an all-time great director, because they're not just going to hand you the keys for 3 or 4 movies. So that's like, it's hard to say and hard to really use that as a compliment. But he's interviewed on a podcast called The Director's Cut. So if you're interested in what he's saying, go there for that. I don't really care about Spielberg anymore though. So I don't like his opinion doesn't mean much to me.
News dump. Christopher Nolan's being knighted?
I don't know. I was trying to think about this earlier. So Christopher Nolan is set to receive knighthood, which will make him Sir Christopher Nolan. Do Americans have an equivalent for this? Like, is there a fake title in this world or in this country
The real title? That's
that
fine.
you like would aspire to be? No. Sir Christopher Nolan is a fake title.
What are the awards that Forrest Gump got? Because I feel like that might be something. He got a lot of awards.
I believe me, being called Sir, I guess, is cool, but it's a fake title. You shouldn't just earn it because you're like a really good director.
It used to be getting a blue check mark on Twitter, but that's bullshit now.
Yeah, true. You know what? That might have been the aspiration at one point. I don't know what the American equivalent of this. Apparently, his wife is also going to receive her damehood.
That's good.
So that's nice.
Which also sounds a whole lot less cool. Just make her a knight too. The fuck?
Well, there's knights and dames, I'm assuming.
Yeah, knighthood, but dame doesn't sound.
What's
cool.
the equivalent? Is it ma'am? What's the sir for women?
Now they have to make the joke,
madam,
about him being the Dark Knight, right?
Yeah, 100% have to.
They have to, and if they don't, they take that knighthood away. Can you have your knighthood stripped?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe you have to battle for it, a duel.
Ooh, but I think you have to accept the duel in order to possibly lose your knighthood, and then the other person gets.
Here's how you should have to gain your knighthood: is there's one slot for two guys, and you duel, and the winner gets the knighthood,
and the loser dies,
or just has to battle again next year.
News dump. It says here that we're getting a reboot for Pirates, but Mac, Jesse Jane just died.
R.I.P. Rip in peace. For some reason, they are rebooting the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, even though there's 35 movies in it, and the most recent one was like 2 years ago. So there's
also only one good one in it.
Yeah, I'm not a pirate guy at all. I don't care for.
You're not a pirate booty.
I'm not into the pirate booty. No.
Now, speaking of pirate booty, this movie, we've heard possible reboots or continuations with Margot Robbie or other actresses, I believe, recently. Is that what's going to happen?
I have no idea, but I'll tell you right now, if Margot Robbie is signed up for this universe and she's in one of those bosom things that Keira Knightley wears in a couple of these movies, then I will watch the Pirates movies.
News dump. And finally, Mac, let's get to our X-Men minute. We can't use music anymore in podcasts. Get used to that, guys.
Ew.
Yes.
This show's awesome. This is a great show.
It rules.
It's so
rules.
Good.
I love it so much. And even lines that, spoiler, when someone says, "I'm the Goblin Queen," you might think that sounds stupid. But it doesn't. It works. I love everything about this show.
This episode got real sexy too, so that really drew me.
I was gonna say more like Sex Men.
Ooh, fucking nailed that. Loved that. Wish I'd come up with that one. I do think a couple of the voices is a little off, but it's not distracting. It's just something you notice. Mm-hmm. We got Cable's origin story this week, Goo. What'd you think about that?
I loved it. We got a bunch of different stories that, people, I've read this, is that people didn't love those comic lines. Mm-hmm. And I thought that they did a pretty good job here in the animated series of making it palatable. And also, let's just get past it.
Yeah, agreed. You know who my favorite character has been so far?
Morph.
Fucking Morph. Morph, this little sassy bastard just razzing people. I really enjoy it.
Also, coolest power set?
Oh, easily. So I didn't know this. A TikTok explained it to me. The difference between Mystique and Morph. You would think it's pretty similar. In fact, Mystique can shapeshift, but cannot use the powers of who they shapeshift into.
Morph can.
Morph can use the powers of who he shapeshifts into.
I love that.
Yeah,
because when he switches into magic and then dark magic, fantastic.
Dynamite.
Yes. I also really I've loved everything Magneto this season.
I don't like his outfit with the big M on the chest and the arm sleeve.
I know, and I've already mentioned this to you off the air that if he didn't have that, I wouldn't know who he is.
I am interested in I feel like they should bring Mystique in at some point, but
Yeah.
they haven't even really alluded to her. I think we're getting Nightcrawler pretty soon too.
Yeah, and then I would assume that we're gonna get Charles by the end of the season, and he'll be able to walk.
Is that a storyline from the comics? He comes back.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Screen Crush.
Okay, all right. Maybe
You go New Rock Stars, right?
Yeah, I prefer New Rock Stars. I
I go Screen Crush. Ryan,
I haven't dove in to either one for this series yet. I did have to do some Googling to figure out this whole double gene situation, though. So I'm on the way there, and that's the coolest part about the show is like I am accepting what it's doing, and it's making me look stuff up. Like if I care enough to look stuff up, it's a good show.
I do like. I like to think that when the second Gene came through the door, Cyclops is like 2 genes at the same time.
I'm kind of pissed.
Wolverine over there, he sees a second Gene, and he's like this.
There's been a lot of scuttlebutt on the internet about Wolverine and Morph's relationship, especially considering the change they made to Morph for this series.
Yeah.
And I am now speculating. I wonder if he makes Morph turn into Jean for some sexy time.
I've also thought that. Because it's in The Boys.
Yes.
Homelander. No, it was the second episode when the guy who can changes into
Madeline
Lady, whatever her name is, for that sex thing, and then he changes into but I don't know.
That's what I was thinking of too. Same exact thing.
Yeah. So I'm glad we're both on the same wavelengths here, Mac. So that's our X-Men minute.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this news dump. We need to think of something for Monday. I'm thinking something that has to do with basketball.
Let's play some basketball. 2 things for you here. One for the folks, actually. Godzilla vs. Kong, or Godzilla X Kong, is out this weekend, the new Empire. Early reviews, 56% critics, 93% audience. I'm sure the audience score is going to remain pretty high, 48 on Metacritic. You and I did not get a screening opportunity for this, which tells me it's probably not a very good movie. I don't think I'm going to see it in theaters. Secondly, Goo, Roadhouse came out on Prime last weekend. It is the most Goo movie I've ever seen.
Still haven't seen it yet.
It is exactly your style.
I'll see
that.
It's
terrible. It's terrible, but it's exactly your style.
And then I need people to stop sending me things for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Oh, it's at 100%. It's 10 reviews. Let's take a second, guys.
The only people that were going to see Blood and Honey 2 were the people that liked the first one. And there was like 4 people that liked the first one.
Yes, it's like the Human Centipede 2. It got 27%.
There you go.
And then the third one was higher because it weeded out everyone.
Exactly. Exactly right.
So we'll discuss our basketball idea for Monday.
Okay.
News dump.